Hi everyone, it's Heather, and I know it's been a while. I just thought I would do a video. I've not been very motivated to do anything. Um, so if you watched my last video, you know that my clinicals have been canceled and my classes have all been moved online, and it has definitely been challenging. I am not a fan of online classes. More power to those of you who do distance learning. It's not for me. I get a lot more out of class and I do a lot more learning at school. So I usually, when we have class, I'm usually there a couple of hours early and I spend time just sitting at a table at school studying. I am a lot more productive when I am not at home. So being at home for all of my classes all of the time has definitely been challenging. We are doing, we're doing lectures on Tuesday. I have two lecture classes, and so we do one after another with a little bit of a break in between. Next semester is going to be even more. It's still going to be just two lecture classes, but they're much longer. Technically, our lecture classes are scheduled from 9 a.m. to like 6:20 p.m. with a 40-minute break somewhere in there. I'm actually, because lecture classes next semester are still going to be on Zoom. We are not going into school for lectures. They've already decided that. So since they were already going to be on Zoom, there had been a request to have some students move from the afternoon class, the regular class, which is done on a live Zoom, to the distance class, which is done on a recorded Zoom that you watch anytime you want. So although it's easier to get your questions answered via live Zoom, I chose to volunteer to be one of those students who moved to the distance Zoom, which means that I will be in a live Zoom for my morning class with all the other in-house students, and then in the afternoon they will do their second live Zoom and I will do whatever I want and then watch the Zoom when I feel like it. I just kind of was thinking about sitting literally in this spot from 9 a.m. to almost 6:30 in the evening and thinking that that was going to be miserable. So I opted out. So I will be sitting here from 9 a.m. until something like 1 or 1:30 for the first class, and then I will be able to take a break and do my afternoon stuff and then watch the Zoom for the other lecture at a later time. So that's my next semester. I do not have clinicals anymore this semester for the rest of the semester at all. They are not having us sign up for clinicals for the summer either. So it looks like unless something drastic changes, we will not be doing any clinicals until next fall, this fall, which really, really stinks. I feel like I'm really losing ground and will have forgotten how to do most stuff and will feel like I'm starting completely over in the fall when we go back to doing clinicals. But it is what it is. What can you do? That's just, we have to do what we can to try and slow the spread of this virus and to hopefully, at least in my own family's case, my hope is that they will come up with some better treatments and a vaccine possibly before anyone in my family gets it. So I am committed to staying at home as much as I can and doing everything that I can to help stop the spread. I hope you are too. I know that lots of people still have to work, and I appreciate everyone who's going to work to do all the things that we still need done. I honestly, if I had a choice just for myself, I would rather be in the hospitals doing stuff right now. I would rather be helping out. But one, I don't have that option. And two, it's not just about me. I do live with my parents who are in their 70s and almost 80, my dad. So just a better option. Sorry, cracking my knuckles. I have that habit. Just a better option for my family, for me to be at home. And since I'm able to, and frankly have to, I'm not being given any other choices, that's what I'm doing. So anyway, so no clinicals until fall. I may cry. No lab for the rest of this semester for sure. No lab in summer semester, except for they're hoping in the last half of the semester, so the final 5 weeks, that we might be able to get into lab. I really hope so. Part of the reason I hope so is that this semester I'm technically enrolled in 4 classes. 2 lectures, one that has a lab component, and 2 clinical classes. So because we're not able to finish the lab or the clinicals, we are being given incompletes for 3 of my 4 classes for this semester until such a time as we are able to complete them. So for clinicals, what that means is getting our 300 hours of clinicals for the semester. I have just over 220, so it really stinks to be that close and to still be getting an incomplete. But again, that's just the way it's going right now. I did submit the paperwork that we were supposed to do by May 4th. That was basically all of the things that we got checked off in lab last semester we were doing in the hospitals this semester, and I did get checked off on all of those things before we had to stop going to clinicals. So I've turned that paperwork in today, and we also had to get a minimum of 15 ABGs before December, and I've gotten all of those, so I went ahead and turned in that paperwork as well. So literally the only thing I need in order to get grades for my clinicals rather than incompletes is another 70 some hours of clinicals. So whenever we're able to go back to the hospitals and go back to clinical, then I can get that done. As far as lab is concerned, we have 2 or 3 checkoffs for this semester that we did not get to do in lab, and so we are being given an incomplete for that class, the lecture and lab portion, until we can go back to lab and finish those checkoffs, which will hopefully be at the end of the summer. But at this point, we don't know for certain. So again, things just up in the air. It's frustrating. It's anxiety inducing, but I know that everyone's doing everything they can and just got to hang on and wait and hope that things get better. I've got finals coming up. Still have to do those. So I've got one final next week and 2 the following week. I am trying to study for those, but I hate sitting at home and trying to get all my work done and trying to motivate myself enough to do studying. I haven't done a video in a month. I haven't done a whole lot of studying over the last month either, I'll be frank. It's just not a good environment for me to study in. So I'm trying this weekend. I'm going to do a fair amount of studying for the final that I have this coming Tuesday, I think it is, and then the 2 the next week. Part of it is that, I'll be honest, the information this semester isn't as challenging, and so I'm not pushing myself quite as much because I feel like, I'll know it. I can get that, no problem. So I'm slacking off because it's been easier this semester. And I shouldn't do that because it's still important information and I still need to make sure I actually learn it. And I'm not going to, it's not going to stick in here to the extent that it needs to without me doing some more studying. So that's my goal for the weekend. So after finals, we're going to have a 2-week break until our summer classes, our Zoom classes, start back up. I'm going to take that time to hopefully continue to study the stuff from this semester and really get it in my brain. And then I'm also going to start taking a look at my exam review book. I have not even cracked it open. I just took the plastic off of it before I started this video. I haven't done anything with it so far. I know that a couple of other people in my class have. One person said that she found it that it was interesting and helpful, and so I'm going to start looking over that because fingers crossed we will actually complete all of our classes on time and all of our clinicals on time and be able to graduate on time. That's a little bit up in the air right now. If we can't do our clinicals and get our hours in, then we can't graduate on time, so that's stressful, but I'm keeping the faith and hoping that it all works out and that we get to graduate on time. I would love to hear how things are going at your school, if they're looking similar, what challenges you've been facing, what you think of doing all of your classes online. Is there anyone out there in school right now who has still been able to do clinicals? I'm interested in that. And if you are not able to do clinicals, how do you feel you're doing without that exposure? I feel like it's making some of the material I'm learning right now harder to remember just because I'm not in the middle of actually doing things, and I'm a kinesthetic learner. I really learn by doing hands-on stuff and being in things, not just reading about it. I mean, I learn from reading too, but it really helps to cement it in my brain to actually use the information. So I would love to hear how everything's going for everyone else who's in school right now. If you're currently working in the hospitals, I hope that you're doing okay, that you're staying healthy, and most of all, I hope that you have enough PPE. I know that most places don't. I'm hoping that that's starting to get a little bit better. Maybe now that we've had some time to ramp up some production of PPE. Just, keeping my fingers crossed for everyone to stay as healthy as possible, and I will see you next time.